there's something that happens in our culture where there is a way that people can just say very disparaging remarks about teenagers and young adults. And it's really kind of commonly accepted, and we don't even notice it. Teens, and we roll our eyes. Oh, my teen is driving me crazy. And believe me, like Ravid and I have all said those things. It does happen. We're not trying to blame or finger point any parent. Like, we know how that goes. But it is kind of interesting to think about, just notice this week all the things that you hear when people talk about teens and tweens and out loud and in front of these teens and tweens. And in a way, when you start to hear those things, it's not really surprising that they come at us with a lot of attitude. It's like they're getting sort of a lot of attitude from out in the world. They're hearing this kind of snarky, negative talk about them and at them. And that because we are the safe home, the parent, it's going to come out at us a lot of times.
And I think part of what Kirsten was just describing right now is the shift that we see in our children. It's society kind of giving them the message that we need to be cool and kind of shut down and even if you have a lot of feelings inside, it's definitely not safe to show any of it on the outside. What we're trying to do when our kids, feel a little distant or dismissive or kind of further away, we actually want to just offer as much connection as possible in very small ways. It doesn't have to be, we don't have to be all over them, but just look for little windows where we can be together, where we could bump into each other just to get some physical closeness and get a little bit of laughter. Try to see if there are things that they would want to do and be next to them. What we call unannounced special time, where we just position ourselves near where they are, and we do mindless things so we're not looking busy in any way, and we stay open and we stay interested, but we're not on them. We're not looking at them. Oh, let's talk. Let's do something. What happened in school today? We're not questioning them. We're not grilling them. We're not trying to get information. We're just trying to be present and open and see what they would talk about, what they would say. It's a totally different response or attitude from what they're seeing from many other adults in their life, where other adults would have demands, would have expectation, would be all about the limits because maybe they need more limits because they don't know how to behave. So we want to have all that for sure, but we always say connection first. And I think once they feel the connection, once they see that we have not given up on them, we want their closeness. We still, look for some physical closeness and some laughter and in small ways, then something in this isolation packet that they sometimes build around them, sometimes it cracks. And when that happens, then there will be more room for some emotions and maybe tears. But we're not going straight there. We're really working on warming up the connection and the closeness.
One, I wanted to say something about stay listening, because folks that maybe are not familiar with hand in hand might not know what stay listening is. And really, stay listening is kind of what it says. We stay and we listen when our children unload a lot of feelings. We want to be that safe space and where they can cry and rant and rave and tantrum. And, when our kids were little, we thought it was hard when they would have a big meltdown on the floor and cry. And now some of us are hoping as they become teenagers, like, man, I wish I could, that was easier. That was easier. Because as they become teenagers, a lot of times it comes out as really snarky or snappy or you're so annoying, or, you know, but we want to make room for them to be able to have those feelings in whatever the way they come up. And I think your idea of like connection, making the connection first is so important. It's like we have to warm that relationship up in order for those tight packet. What did you say? The packet of
isolation.
Yeah.
Really kind of an armor that they have to build around them.
And I think that in our society, boys are really conditioned, not just from this age, but from a very early age, to not feel, to tuck it in, not be messy, not be loud, don't be angry, but do be angry, you know, use your anger for power, but don't be, you know, it's very confusing. And by the time they're teens and tweens, even if we've done a really good job of saying feelings are okay in our family, they're receiving so much of that they can get really clamped down. The way that you said, Ravid, like putting a little crack in the armor, you know, like that safety and warmth. Even though some of the stuff they're going to say to or at or about us might feel hard to hear, we want to be that place. Things get complicated in the teen years. They're going to be driving. They might be drinking. There's sex somewhere on the horizon. Like there's a lot of bigger things out there than, they might fall off their bicycle, or I can't get them in the car seat. Like there's bigger things that are looming in front of us. And we want to be like a refuge. We want to be the safe place where our children can show us and share with us. And it might look like being aggressive and being defiant. And what we're trying to convey, that Ravid was saying so well, is like giving that warmth and being like, I'm right. I'm not going anywhere. You might be aggressive with me. You might be defiant, but what you're trying to show and convey and have them feel is, I'm not going anywhere.